What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Make your next thing a big one. Today on the program, I have Dark from Day One. Oh, you've heard of that band. Well, I have two of the members of Dark from Day One. I have Natal John, also known as the Red Beard. If you're watching the video version, you'll know why. And Truman Fuller, the newest member of the band. Yeah, I have them coming up in the next few minutes, so stick around. You don't want to miss this. This week's shows, I have one public show, my regular Friday night gig at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, the Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yes, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. We got a little concert starring each and every one of you. So come on out and sing for the people. When I don't know how to sing, I have magic microphones. I'll put a little echo on you, fill you right out. I make people sound as good as they possibly can. And I got some brand new QSC K12.2 speakers that'll make all that sound come out crystal clear. So nice. So nice. I think yeah. If you make a dollar in this business, you put 99 cents back into the business. Speakers ain't cheap. Microphones ain't cheap. But if you want the craft, if you want to sound as good as you possibly can, you put the money back into the business. You do it. Equipment needs to be replaced. This fragile electronics technology and stuff. Boy, did that sound smart. That's the Rab on Friday night, Conway, Arkansas. Full bar, kitchen's open. Pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday night, so if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, come on out to the Rab in Conway, Arkansas, Friday night, 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. Come and play with us. And then on Saturday, I got a wedding in Little Rock, Arkansas. The reason I mention it, unless you're invited, you cannot come. But the reason I mentioned it, because I'm excited. I love doing weddings. I love parties. I love the fact that I still get to do this after all these years. I get to have fun with people at their best times, picking up spirits, lifting spirits. It's what playing music does for people. But I just push buttons. The real musicians are coming on right about now. I have Dark from Day One, Natal John, Truman Fuller. I got them on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/keysdan. Skyping Dark from Day One now. Oh my goodness, this guy's going to play music on this podcast. Music never sounds good when you're in this format. Of course, it's probably going to sound real good when you got Dark from Day One. All right, I knew Natal John was going to be here. That's why I have your little name under there. But who?
This is Truman Fuller.
All right. Well, I could. It's so good, man. I could probably just title it Dark from Day One and have it good to go.
Absolutely.
You're two of the kids, and I guess it's good to have two. How many people in the band anyway?
We have 5 total.
Okay. We'll go ahead and give shout-outs. Start off with the round robin. Name yourselves, and then name the rest of the band that couldn't make it.
Hi, what's up? My name's Natal John, Redbeard. This is... You want to introduce
I'm Truman Fuller. I sing and sometimes play guitar.
And then we have Ronnie James, which is not present. Bass, and Brock Calvert on drums, and Rob Najee, which is the other guitar player besides me and Truman.
Fantastic. So who's doing the singing? Who's doing the songwriting? I mean, give the people an idea of what a Dark from Day One is, because I'm familiar. There's been iterations of it. I know Josh Stewart, and I think he was in from day one? Is this
Yes.
associated with that? Is this a branch of that? Is this what happened? I don't know. Tell me about the history of Dark from day one.
Long history for sure. I started it in 2006, and you're right, it has had many iterations for sure. But Truman has been with us for about a year. Hasn't it been a year, I think?
Probably almost probably about a year and a half.
Year and a half, yeah.
Going on. Between a year and a year and a half.
Yeah. But it was counting.
Well, okay, Redbeard, I see it. It's a little on the nose for me, but you know, if you're going to have a persona, you go with it, and I like it. I like that there's characters. You know, a band is made up of individuals that come together and make something, unite to make something that could be incredible. And I like that you're real musicians. You're not electronic, and I've been in the electronic age. I've remixed songs for people. I'm not against electronic music. I like the fact that I can mix it very easily, but I also like watching a live band do their thing, and just, you know, the guitars riff, the drums beat hard, the singer is using his talents, the bass is just, you know, making you move, making you groove, making you think different things.
Classic.
Oh my goodness!
Presentation of the art of music, as we're never going to get tired of it. It's the human element of delivering it that makes it special, and then it'll always be a thing.
I mean, it can be mathematical. I've been talking to a few people here, and I think I've come to the conclusion that a lot of today's music is very formulaic. There's a suit involved that may hinder the creative juices, but also could enhance it in some way monetarily, I guess. Hey, that guy, that band over there sang about a truck and a girl in a bikini, and there was a beer involved. Hey, why don't you write a song that has a truck with a girl in a bikini and there was a beer involved, and then we'll have a hit, right? You know, is it all formulaic? No, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
You want to take that one on?
No, well, I mean, the thing is, as a creative, you know what I mean, having a direction, because I do a lot of different things. So one of my barriers, like creating, is sometimes I run into a wall of, well, what do I do? Where do I go with it? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just having a direction to go and then just buckling down and doing it, it's a blessing. But then again, other times, you just kind of want to do your thing. And so I feel like having, you know, someone that is supportive that way and then understands how to work with you and your version of creative is paramount.
Well, I'm probably going to bounce back and forth because that's the way my mind works. I want to ask different things. I had I never have a list of questions for people unless they actually, their producers or their agents or somebody will send me a list of questions. And I know we have a show coming up, and I do want to talk about that. I'm kind of excited because I think I'm off on July 9th, and I'm really stoked. Maybe I'll actually be able to be there, because usually on Saturdays, man, I'm working a show myself. And hey, that's not a problem. That's not a bad problem. It's nice to be wanted and loved, but all right, Dark from day one, and you say that was an iteration from day one. What was the first part of it? Are you a founding member, Mr. Red?
Actually, I am. I created Dark from day one in 2006. So basically, I was reading an article with Scooter Ward from the band Cold, and he said something. He was talking about his sister and how she had cancer, and so the last thing he said in the phrase was, so we're in the dark from day one. So I took that concept and I thought, dark from day one. In the beginning, we're born to this earth innocent, not knowing the pressures of stress, nor the evils that humanity is capable of. Our only hope is that our life will never be anything short of extraordinary. Therefore, we are in the dark from day one.
I didn't know it came from Scooter.
Yeah.
Dude, that got deep. That got real deep. From illness, from pain, from an offhanded remark about the suffering that another was going through comes inspiration. And I find that creatives do that. Creatives will find, whatever it makes their juices flow. You never know where that inspiration is going to come from. Now, who's doing the songwriting?
We all share it. Yeah, that's what's cool is we are actually a band full of songwriters, and so we'll bounce different ideas off one another. I think the majority of us can actually compose, in entities completely. Yeah. But it's cool because we'll take all that stuff and like, hey, I have this idea or whatever. What are your thoughts? And it's really a good creative process.
Man, that's fantastic to have so much juices flowing. That's a building blocks of greatness. The Beatles, I guess they all wrote songs. I know that Paul and John were the main force, but George and Ringo had their share of songwriting abilities and input, and it was a band of four. And if you have five, well, that's one better, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did I just imply you could be bigger than the Beatles?
Hey, we would not complain. We would love to be timeless.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, let's do the basics. Everybody, are you all from the Little Rock area?
No, Truman and I live in Knoxville, Arkansas, which is tiny blink and you miss it town. Brock is in Russellville, which isn't much bigger, but a little bit bigger. And Ron is in Bigelow, which is a small town. And then Rob is in Maumelle.
Maumelle. See, I'm familiar with all those towns. The one that I know the most, I used to have I had a day job to where I traveled to Russellville quite a bit, and I like the way their town's laid out. It's all ABC and 1, 2, 3, east and west of the Mississippi. Really easy to get around. Whoever designed that, and I guess Danville, Arkansas, was also designed in a similar way. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but as far as a town, it's laid out right. If you tell somebody, go to the main street or go to Arkansas, that's the cross right there, and
You're right.
and you work out from there with the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. All right. Well, I like towns. I like small towns. I like Knoxville. I like Maumelle. Maumelle's kind of ritzy. It's always been that kind of an attitude. But I've done a lot of shows in all these different places. But you come together. It's not really that huge of a state. You're all in Arkansas. And, I come from Miami. There was 1 million people on my block. I think there's barely 1 million in this whole state. And everybody knows everybody. It's so nice. The music community here is real tight. And I know, I guess I got to give props to Mary Holt and her crew for putting us together and coming together to talk about you guys and where you came from and how things came about, how Dark from Day One came about, and what you did maybe previous to this, before you were the founder of Dark from Day One, Red. What were you doing previous to that? What was your musical education and your interest previous, and what have you?
I actually, Dark from Day One was not my first entity in a group. I started a band at 17 years old named Seether, and it was kind of like a punk style band. And then from there, I had some buddies ask me to play bass in a band called Slip and Fall. And, it was kind of around the same time as like some acquaintances of mine, POD. And, that was kind of like our, we shared a lot of commonalities, But I remember the band asking me like, hey, would you come play bass for us? And I'm like, I don't play bass, I'm a guitarist. They're like, same thing. I was like, okay. So, I was kind of a late bloomer, honestly. Like my dad would play guitar. He'd say, well, I'd just beat on the strings. My mom would sing. But it wasn't until 17, at 17 years old, man, as cliche or silly as it may sound, I heard this band called Nirvana, and it changed my life, man. From that moment on, I wanted to play guitar, and it wasn't because he was such a phenomenal guitarist or anything like that. It was just raw and real, and I could feel it, So it literally changed my whole life.
Well, that's a bright flame that burned out quick, man. Just
I know.
It's better to burn out than to fade away. I guess that's what they do. That's what the greats do. Are they great because they leave us so soon, or are they? I don't know. Could they have been greater if they had left so soon?
You know, we have Paul McCartney. We have great examples of the other way. I don't want to believe that's the case. You know what I mean?
But even so, he's getting older. You hear him in interviews. He remembers the light shining so bright, and Paul McCartney. He feels like, hey, it's starting to fade. And it's like he's a shell of himself. And I listened to Keith Richards on the WTF podcast with Mark Maron, and he. He remembers the time fondly, but he just kind of, it's fading, But yes, you are in your heyday right now. Okay, I'm sorry. It always takes me 2 times at least to remember a name. I got Natal John, and I got
Truman Fuller.
Truman Fuller. Where did you start out? And what were you doing before you stumbled into this Dark from Day One thing?
I was building a YouTube channel. Before that, I mean, musically, I grew up playing piano as early as I can remember, 4 and 5. I spent a lot of time in church on stages, leading worship, playing guitar, singing in choral arrangements. My mom, my 2 sisters, we had a 4-part harmony, and we would go around to a lot of the churches and sing and stuff. And that's kind of been, older. I got married, and then I spent also more time directing church bands and different things. And I've been in a couple of other bands, The Knowing Hand. I've been in a couple acoustic outfits, a folk band where I played mandolin. Man, I've kind of been all over the place musically, but my love is kind of post-grunge hard rock. I love the intensity of it, the driving guitars, and everything, and I like to bring like almost a purist singer aspect to that style of music, and that's kind of how I got here.
Man, I was in a discussion with I can't remember, well, maybe one of my coworkers just the other day about guitar riffs and music that you can recognize in Name That Tune was a big show in the 70s that people would go, oh yeah, I can name that tune in 3 notes. Those guitar riffs, those hard hitting guitar riffs, because you got the drums and the bass that lays down that rhythm, keeps the people moving, but it's the guitar and the singer's job to tell the story, to change minds, to change attitudes. You play a chord up here, you play a chord down here. It can make you feel good and happy, or it can make you think a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
Have you always been in the rock, in the heavy rock genre? But what are your biggest influences? Let's go with Truman. What started to make you feel like, hey, I think I want to make this a career?
Breaking Benjamin, no doubt about it. That band changed my life. I heard I had never heard them. I grew up very religiously, so I didn't really listen to a lot of popular music at the time. But 16 years old, man, I'm playing Halo 2, the video game, Halo 2. And I hear this music on the final boss room, man, just this amazing guitar riffs. And then I buy the soundtrack because I liked it. Turns out it was not cold, Blow Me Away, Breaking Benjamin. And so I bought the album, and that was my introduction into like the new metal scene. And it quickly became one of my favorite genres of music.
Hey, not a bad place.
If I'm gonna do music, make money doing it. That's the kind of music I'm gonna make.
No, not a bad jumping off point to be sure, man. It all rocks. But oh my goodness, I mean, all right. Since you're the newest member of the band, Truman, 1 year in. So coming in from, and I'm guessing maybe replacements as we get older. Family starts to get to become a part of it, like any family, we start to butt heads a little bit. I guess I'm kind of reading into why bands do member changes. The worst ones are when they die off. That's right. I mean, that's a tragedy that's hard for any band to come back from. Replacing like the lead singer, he was always the front man out there, screaming for the people, and they recognize him, and then he passed away. But, I mean, what are the inspirations that you, that you get from, I don't know. I'm stoked to be talking to you and learning more about you. But tell people, okay, I know that Red came from Natal John came from, his mom and dad were singing, and then you came from a religious family, and then you broke out into the heavy rock music. What does your religious family think about this?
My sisters kind of broke out the same way that I did. They both also sing, and they love what I'm doing. My mother, she's a wonderful woman, but she's very set in her ways. She's not too much about it. It's not Jesus. She's not really, even if the message is absolutely overwhelmingly positive. You know what I'm saying? It's got a heavy beat, man. She can't do it.
Well, okay, I have talked to Christian rock bands, and I figure, and Christian hip hop bands and Christian, it's the same exact music, except they throw a Jesus in there. It kind of feels, I don't know. Are they trying to make money changer? I guess I've read the Bible. I know that
I think they're probably trying to reach that audience, but I think that's part of it. But also, I feel like genres of music transcend the subject matter. I feel like the way that we will enjoy music as it's played or performed will transcend the subject matter of the music. So I don't think it's odd or you should have a weird feeling about hearing a slaying song about Jesus and then also a slaying song about that girl. You know what I'm saying? It's either way.
The overtones, the message is always bringing people together and just grooving, man, just having a good time.
Right.
That's right.
And that's what live music, supporting especially your local live music. Yeah, the big bands, they've gotten to this level, and even though you're at this level, you still put out lots of music that it seems to reach people because and the way you can judge it nowadays is on the social media. You look at your YouTube page, you got 30, 40,000 hits on these songs. How does that make you feel when you have that much traction on these songs? And is it affording you a way to make a living from only music? Or, do you have other interests? Do you have day jobs to keep your night jobs going?
I think at this stage of the game, we still have the day jobs to keep the night job going, but we are seeing, slowly but surely a little bit more increase, on the rise to where this becoming our full-time job is a possibility. And that is exciting, Ultimately, I think, we want to connect, with people, and that's what is important with our music. And I think if we're doing that, then we're already successful. I couldn't tell you, man, how many different stories of people that have listened to our music and said, hey, this song, kept me from killing myself, or, this song, how it affected them and changed their lives. So I feel that we're already, successful, and we definitely want to continue to be more successful from the aspect of being able to do this all the time,
Yeah, all I want is for anyone that has the talent that you have to be able to make it into a living, a comfortable living. You don't have to be, does anybody even sell records anymore? The million-selling album that has it made for the rest of their lives, and they have the ability to pursue whatever interests they want. You don't have to be on that level, and can you even be on that level anymore? How is a band making money now? Is it off record sales? Because the meme that I'm seeing coming down my feed is buy a T-shirt. It's 1,000 times better than streaming 20,000 times on their Spotify list. Buy a hat, buy a T-shirt. Heck, buy a CD for nostalgia's sake. They'll sign it for you for an extra $5. Just keep them going, right?
That's why branding is so important, and there's so many. The times are evolving so quickly for how to generate revenue from your art. It's branding so important. Your content, how you present your content is so important. And it's also for all of us been a learning curve to find out the best way to present our content and how to to monetize it and how to present it. You know what I mean? It's just.
Well, after a show, especially a local live a gig, and I want to reiterate that to the people listening, to you, my loyal listener, go to support your local live talent, because after a great show, they're going to be as good as anybody you hear on the radio, because they've been working on their craft. You guys have been working on your craft. You're as good as anybody on the radio right now. But the bonus is you're going to have a merch table set up, and the people are actually going to be able to interact with you. They're going to have to be able to touch greatness, touch the guitarist. And I know you, as an entertainer, I mean, for me, I feel like I have imposter syndrome. Every time I go to a show, I go, ooh, I don't know. Are they going to like me? Is this going to be good? Am I going to do it right? And then after the show, oh, that went well. It went right. But are you nervous before every gig? I know tell that Elvis Presley was nervous before every gig. That's probably why, the drugs got involved, up to pick him up and down to get him down, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But how do you get yourself psyched for a show? Do you meditate? Do you listen to, whatever your favorite music? What do you do?
It's probably different for each and every one of us. I know for me, normally I have to go pee like 50 times before I get on stage. But not that that helps in the process. But, there have been different shows that we've done, too, for different reasons. Maybe I was more nervous. I mean, I remember we took the stage, 22,000 people are watching us. We're playing with Seether, Avenged Sevenfold, all these big bands. And I'm thinking, who are we? We're up here with these guys. And so that can be intimidating. But when you hit that first note or that first chord and you just let everything go and just basically you want to create a moment in time, kind of like what you were saying, go see these locals or whatever, because chances are the bands that you really, really dig were a local band at some point in time. And you could have been the person that experienced that moment, and nobody else got that. So you got something that was very tangible that you might have been 1 out of 5 people or whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll let Truman say what he thinks for him. But for me, I just, I actually do share Christian faith, and I do pray before I go on stage. But I'm not one of those guys that's like, hey, you got to believe what I believe. I just, want to love people, and I want people to have a great time. If I do that, then mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And Truman?
Like you were saying, it's kind of different for every show. For me, there's always there's a nervousness, but also there's mostly anticipation for me, because I'm someone who I work really hard to prepare, so if I feel like I've worked hard to prepare, the nervousness kind of drops into the backdrop, and I'm very much anticipating being on stage, because there's something that's just one of the most amazing things to experience. It's being on stage in front of an appreciative, attentive audience that's really digging what you're laying down. That's one of the most rewarding things. And so for me to be able to do that, it's very satisfying, and there's much anticipation for that. The cohesive moment is right before we get on stage. We all get together and we huddle, and we say a moment, we say a prayer, we talk to each other, we look each other in the eyes, and then we go do it. Yep. Then it's on.
All right. I mean, there was a time I was a man of faith. I guess I could have been a zealot at some point, but I think that kind of fades away after a little while, and maybe towards the end of life, I'll start trying to reconcile and see what's what. But
I'm not trying to reconcile.
I know it's so. I have trouble. I don't know. Is there an invisible man watching us all the time? I don't know. But that's a whole nother story. All right, Truman Fuller, you're from New Orleans or Louisiana. Is that where you were born and raised?
Yeah, well, raised for the early part of my childhood.
Okay.
I lived young adolescence in Texarkana, around the Arkansas, Texas borders, a little bit in Texas, and then moved from there up to the top of Arkansas, Mountain Home, Missouri, then back down here about a year and a half ago.
Man, because New Orleans probably one of my favorite towns to. But one of the I was born and raised in South Florida, Miami, the Florida Keys, Dan's where that comes from. But I bought a Mustang back in '87. That's the 1900s for you kids. Okay, back in '87, I bought a Mustang convertible, and the first thing I did was I took that on a 1,000-mile road trip to New Orleans. And I had a cell phone, the brick, and I called my mom from the middle of Bourbon Street, and I go, Mom, I'm on the first thing you say when you're on a cell phone back in the early '90s was, hey, I'm on a cell phone. Okay, yeah. But I was in the middle of Bourbon Street, probably spending $5 a minute. And I was jazzed to be in the middle of that town. And I remember going through. I mean, what do you remember about walking? Well, I mean, even on Bourbon Street or up, yeah.
I remember living on the top floor of a shop in the French Quarter and getting grilled shrimp po' boy delivered hot. It's huge with 30-something jumbo shrimp on it for $5.
Yeah. Oh man, now you're making the fat man hungry. I'm gonna have to cut this. I'm gonna have to cut this in a little bit. No, but all right. But you're all right. But Natal John, you were born and raised in a little town, born in Knoxville, Arkansas. That's a very different place than New Orleans. New Orleans more of a touristy type town. Knoxville, kind of a more sleepy. What did you do for fun when you were a little Natal John?
Oh my gosh, I did everything, man, from like catch crawdads to like sell little fish that I would catch and try to get like all the pro fishermen to buy them. But I was like generating revenue. Like I'd have $25 a day, and I was like, all right. Until I got caught by the game wardens. Then they're like, nope, can't do this, Sonny. You're not allowed. But what's really fascinating, honestly, I have a lot of ties to Florida. So my family has a condo at New Smyrna Beach. My uncle lived in Miami. Our old band manager, John Tovar, which was Marilyn Manson's manager, is from Miami. I mean, it's and also too, what's really cool is Dark from Day One. We've got to perform in every state except Alaska and Hawaii. And so even as a young kid, like every summer we would go to Florida. So yeah, in Knoxville, Arkansas, there wasn't a whole bunch to do, but I knew every summer I would get to go like have some fun and not just catch little crawdads or whatever. I could actually catch crabs, the good kind of crabs. So.
Well, you can catch both kinds of crabs down there in Miami for sure. All right, let me tell you my little story about Brian Warner, the Marilyn Manson that you spoke of. I went to Western High School, class of '86. Supposedly, Brian Warner was at Western High School in his 9th and 10th grade, the same years that I was there, 9th and 10th grade. I never knew him. He moved away. He went to, South Plantation, like another school in Fort Lauderdale, and he graduated from there. But I didn't know that was him until so many years later. Really? And I looked at a friend's yearbook, because I don't have any of the yearbooks. I looked at a friend's yearbook, and there he is, right there.
Wow.
Same class, same grade. You talk about, I mean, people, we all have similar beginnings, but it's what we do with those beginnings, those experiences. You have the power to make, fishing for crawdads or getting shrimp for $5 and turn it into songs, turning those feelings into music that can help other people, relate. You were talking about saving lives. A countless amount of times people have said, I played music and somebody came to me after a show and said I was going to kill myself tonight after this show, but you changed my mind. The one person that you saved, that's it. You made it all worthwhile. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
You did it. You changed lives. People, drag themselves out of the house. As we get older, our fans also get older. Of course, you'll pick up their kids and then they'll come in. You keep rocking as hard as you rock. The skaters are gonna love you. The kids are gonna love you anyway. But you're gonna our bass fans are gonna get older and older, and they're gonna have babysitters, and getting them off the couch in front of their big screens is gonna get harder and harder. But the ones that do, the ones that stick with you, that is the core of why you do what you do. Yeah, maybe you'll get rich. Maybe. I hope for you that you do. But hopefully at least make a living off of this. But
that's cool. That is the goal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, get a comfortable house. The one thing about being in the music business, and it is a business, and I know, Red, you said you were an enterprising young man selling crawdads. That's business. That's very enterprising. That's a good base. You should let those kids sell lemonade in their stand. Sell what did I sell? Cinnamon sticks. That was big in the 80s. You would take toothpicks and dip them into cinnamon for 24 hours, and then go to school the next day and sell them for 25 cents a pop. And you'd see kids with mouths all red and burning mouths. And I got the 25 cents. I got the 25 cents. Right. You should let kids do that. That's because that is gonna help you from being robbed the rest of your life. How many musicians get robbed? Would you consider yourselves independent? Are you signed with a record label? Have you been in both situations? What are your feelings on each?
We have been in both. In 2011, we signed a global distribution deal with Universal Music Group. And, of course, then, we had hit the road, and things were going really good. But as the economy got a little more challenging, our guarantees went, a little further down. So we had to come back and get the day jobs and stuff. But, in a weird sense, it is cliche, but everything does happen for a reason. And I think it was one of those things to where the right elements, as far as people, personalities, and all that stuff had to come together. And it finally did. As of right now, we are independent. There are some labels that are interested, but we haven't really, discussed anything further. We'll see what happens as time goes on, but ultimately, I think for all of us, we just want to be able to be in the position to where we are able to do this for a living.
We're solidifying our foundation in our current iteration of the band. I feel like what we're definitely doing. We're building our sound, building our log, building our content. And I think we're doing a good job so far. Yeah, I feel like it too.
Well, for those people that are listening to the audio version of that, for those people that are listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version on YouTube, because you're in a room, you're in a space that it feels like, is that your practice space?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We've been fortunate to have two rehearsal spaces. This one is the centralized location, and actually we had recorded the first record we did in here, The Fire Within, when we signed with Universal, which was a neat experience. We're like, don't you guys want us to come there and do something? They're like, no, it's great. Let's just do that. And so, yeah, we have different accolades and stuff that are on the wall. This is a smaller space, but we also had access to a 60 by 100 shop that we would have different shows at, and but this is the main meeting place for Dark from Day One.
That's amazing that Universal would want you to do it in your own space and not at one of their studios, quote unquote, that is professionally engineered for that. How do you have the capability, the knowledge to record your own music and make it, some way that's palatable to the human ears on a radio? Who's got that knowledge?
Well, Truman does. I have a little bit of it. The old vocalist did, and then also our guitarist Rob, especially these two guys. But what's really most vital in those situations and scenarios is the ear. And so this guy right here has probably one of the best ears, honestly, in the business. Even though he's not world renowned or anything yet, that's, I think, another future goal. But yeah, it really does. And then, you can have, if you have the right tools, even if you don't have the right tools, if you have the ear and know how to utilize them, you can make very good sound, solid recordings that are comparable, Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with going into these studios and places, and we have several different times. But now we're kind of in the position to where we're trying to do as much of it on our own as possible.
Well, you're letting people know that you, with a couple grand and the right kind of equipment and somebody who has that kind of knowledge that could put stuff together, you can do it yourself. You don't need anybody. That's I think that is putting the big record companies on list. I guess they're on notice. If you don't want me, what's that?
Plugins and software has come so far that home recording, the wave of home recording is so prominent, and the sounds are so good coming from people's homes that labels are having to turn to, our connections rather than their studios. You know what I'm saying, to build value.
Well, I mean, it has to be relationships that are built. The right deals have to be made. And you're talking about a good year. 30 plus years of wearing these headphones, playing music for the people. You have to protect your ears. I mean, how does a hard hitting rock band like Dark from Day One protect their ears? Do you have the in-ear monitors that make you have the levels right, or what do you suggest to protect these kids when they're trying to be rock stars and protect their ears?
It's a very good question. Yes, we actually do utilize in-ear monitors, and it's one of those things. Say the more money that you spend in that realm, the better quality in-ear monitors that you get. If there's situations to where we don't have that or whatever, which we do, but there might be times that, say, one guy might wear some earplugs.
And they make flat frequency earplugs. They make attenuated earplugs so that it's not just like shoving a piece of styrofoam in your ear. It drops the decibels down with a flat frequency response. That way you can hear the articulation of what's going on rather than just wadding something through your ear.
Well, yeah, that leads me to the next thing is the people that think the entertainers in the entertainment business, you make all right, you made $1,000 on that gig last night. Oh, I made $1,000. Well, guess what? 900 of that is probably going right back into the business, going back into equipment. Because that monitor didn't sound so good. I'm going to have to buy a new one. That guitar, all the strings broke off of it. I'm going to have to get that snare drum fouled up. I'm going to have to get a new one. If I make $1, 99 cents of that goes right back into the business. And, hey, look, it's fortunate that I don't just do the DJ thing. I got the radio. I got the day job that affords me the insurance. That's the other thing that people have to realize. A lot of times, musicians don't have the insurance. You think there's problems with you having insurance in your day-to-day job? Well, the musicians hardly ever have insurance. So I'm guessing the day job is affording you that, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it is for all of us currently, and we're very fortunate, our jobs are very flexible with us. My job, if we go out on tour for a couple months, they're like, yeah, it's cool, just come back. And when you come back and you've got your job, and not every place is like that. But I think we've all worked really hard to build those types of relationships and connections to be able to do that. Now, once again, with all the stuff we dealt with COVID-wise and all that, it's not like we've done a tremendous amount of touring lately. But we have focused very heavily on content and new material. And man, I'm going to have to send you our newest single tomorrow. We're really excited about that.
I mean, is that the Dark from the Giants?
No, this is called How Could I?
How Could I? Okay, even newer than Giants. Giants is like a year old already, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that song rocks hard. I'm perusing your YouTube, but talk about the touring. Are you all family guys? You all have significant others? And touring, how far is touring? And how long is touring? Because that's hard on a family.
It absolutely is. most of the time, whenever we've gone out, the maximum it's been a couple months. Now, say for instance, we were to get a substantial run that made sense, you know, from a financial standpoint, but also having the balance of family and all that. Then I would imagine we would discuss it at that time and say, yeah, let's do this. But I do have I had 5 kids. But they're all older except for my 2 youngest, and my youngest one's 14. And so her mama and I share week on, week off, but I'm fortunate that she's flexible, and if I go out on tour, she'll watch her, so on and so forth. And I have a girlfriend, so I got a little family, I guess, a tiny little family.
Well, it's good to have love in your lives, man. That helps to inspire you, helps to keep you grounded. I don't care how many people I play for, and I've played for 70,000 people at the Homestead Miami Speedway. I've played for all these people, and I come home to my wife, and she goes, "Could you take out the garbage?" Grounded, grounded. You know,
why didn't you take out the garbage?
Yeah. Street, you know, people, you know, and then, you know, every Friday night I'm at this club and people tell me how great I am and how wonderful. And I come home and, hey, you know, you need to cut the grass tomorrow. Okay. All right. I got it. Grounded, man. Keeps you grounded. Keeps your head level, man. You know, the fans, yes, they love you in a certain kind of way. In an ethereal way. They love what you do. They think they know you better than they know you. And part of the way that they get to know you is not just through your songs, but now with the incredible medium of social media and podcasting and, you know, having a video podcast. And the reason I knew that Josh was, Joshua Stewart was part of it. Well, it's not only, it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Josh. But I saw a video of you and him, Red, talking about From Day One. So, I mean, that was from social media. And I knew he had something to do with that because he's been on this podcast before. He did it maybe 2.5 years ago. And I got, you know, a good part of his story. But, you know, you and Josh, what was that like working with him? And what was the iteration then?
Oh, that was really good. What had transpired is at that point in time when we acquired him, you know, say the other vocalist went on to do other things, just didn't want to tour or do any of that stuff. Josh came in the picture, and our management at the time had said we were having a difficult time, like with radio stations wanting to spin Dark from Day One because they thought we were like an extreme death metal band. And so our management said, well, yeah, if you guys want to drop the dark, and now since you have, you know, 2 other members into the equation, this would be a good time to do it. So that's kind of how the From Day One thing took place. And fortunately, you know, we had built up enough relationships and friendships to where we could still continue on in that vein and, you know, get some good shows. And there were people that knew who we were. And, you know, our core fan base understood what we were doing at that time. And, of course, you're going to have some people that are like, oh, well, you know, you guys aren't Dark from Day One now. And we're like, well, yes, we are, but, you know, there's a few different people. And so this is just kind of the nature of it. And then what happened is over time, you know, different things happen in life and people want to go to other areas or do whatever it is or need to do things. And so then we basically stopped From Day One for a while, and another friend of mine said, hey, man, it's been a while, you know, are you dead yet? And I'm like, well, no, I'm not dead. He's like, you should really, you know, work on some music, and why not do Dark from Day One again? And so the bass player, Ronnie, which he's been probably the longest member besides me, he's been with it for 10 years, said, yeah, let's do it, bro.
That's Ronnie James, Ronnie James,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, Ronnie James,
okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that came back into play. But, I mean, you know how it is. Life stuff happens. And I went through a rough divorce and, you know, quit doing music for like 6 months and just kind of took a break.
Well, the From Day One, was that a little lighter, a little frothier, something that maybe could be aimed more towards more radio play, what the kids would say, oh, he sold out. No, he didn't. He just went in a different direction, you know, to try to get some commercial success. Was that what From Day One was, or am I just reading that wrong?
Yeah, I think mostly a name. I don't think we drastically changed the sound. We've always tried to, you know, we want to write great songs. You know, great songs. It can be any genre, but something that people feel. Yeah. And so I don't think we switched, you know, as far as genre-wise. The album had quite a diversity on it, because then you had 2 other new members with different creative ideas, and so I would say it was diversified, but not necessarily like, you know, those dudes sold out.
Not a drastic change. Okay,
Right.
It's just a name, and Dark by any other name is just as sweet, man. But now that Truman is, you know, full-fledged, hard member of the band, you know, is this a good iteration? Do you feel like this is the right direction? Do you feel like you got the groove going, or Truman, you got to go? No, I'm just kidding. You know, no. Do you feel like you got a groove going? You're heading in the right direction. And what, you know, what's on the horizon for Dark from Day One?
This is absolutely the best iteration. You know, I'm not just saying that because he's sitting right beside me. This was the guy that I looked for like 10 years, man. You know, since I'd had the original vocalist, and it's not that all the other guys weren't great, you know, absolutely very talented musicians and vocalists, but there's a certain kind of feeling and something that certain musicians or people have, and it's like that it thing that you're like, holy bleep. I won't say it. I don't know if you have profanity on your stuff, but like, this is, you know, real. This is the real deal. And actually, I was dating this girl, and she was putting on shows out at this ranch, and that's how I met him. So when I saw this guy on stage, he was playing acoustic guitar, Toxicity by System of a Down, and I was blown away. I was just like, oh my God, where has this dude been? And, you know, come to find out later, he had a YouTube channel, but I never got to see any of that. And it's just, honestly, it's incredible. The songwriting, the connection that we all have. Future-wise, we're working on new material, content, trying to write great songs, you know. Getting ready to do, of course, more shows. Eventually tour if it makes sense. Maybe sign a record deal if it makes sense, or I don't know, man.
Speaking of songs, the one, you know, we're releasing "How Could I" tomorrow, yeah. And man, that song's kind of like, it somehow became the thing that almost speaks, you know, us to our experiences the last year. It's like kind of like our anthem. It's our baby, man. We all, each of us love that song. I mean, we have no idea if everyone else is gonna love it the way that we do, but damn, we love it, you know?
Well, good,
I wish
man.
we could play a snippet of it almost on here.
Well, I mean, I have my own little RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I'll be happy to play the Dark from Day One songs on it for sure. Man, you guys do rock, man. You know, the way people say, hey, what kind of music do you play? Well, it's called Radio What. If I like it, you know, I'll play it. And if I like it, somebody else is going to like it. We have similar tastes to a lot of people in the world, and with this crazy internet that we have, we can find our tribe, the people that like to rock, you know, as hard as we do, and the people that like to, you know, take it easy as well. And we're not just one thing, you know. People like a lot of different kinds of music, and that's what I play on RadioWhat.com. So I'm happy if you'll allow me to play some of the Dark from Day One on there. I'll put it in rotation, and I'll even tweet you if you have Twitter feeds. And
we do.
Yeah.
We would greatly appreciate that, man. Thank you.
No, it gives you content to tweet about, and hopefully they'll tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends, and they'll show up at the show. Well, I mean, I know I talked to Scotty Austin of formerly of Saving Abel. I always got to say it like that. Like nobody knows who Scotty Austin is at this point in time. The man's making a name for himself as it is. But you guys have a show coming up, man. Let's talk about that as we wind this thing down and get up out of here and let you get back to your families. Tell me about the big shoe that's coming up.
You know what's really kick-ass is Scotty Austin. Me and Ron have been friends with him for quite some time now, and he's just a super awesome dude, man. Very talented. He had trashed the brand before, he had joined up with the Saving Abel guys, and this will be our second show with him. However, not just him doing his solo stuff, and it'll be the first with like Truman and I think Rob played that, or no, Rob and Truman, and it'll be their first show with them. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. I know we're going to try to create those moments in time. I know Scotty Austin will do the same thing, and it'll be like one of those things that you're saying, like, yeah, man, I was there for that. I can't believe that. I feel so much better that, I went to that show and hung out.
Oh, it's gonna rock.
Yeah, it's gonna rock.
Well, I mean, the Rev Room is one of the coolest venues here in Little Rock, Arkansas, in this area. It's I guess it's our own little version of CBGB's, dare I say it.
Yep.
You never know who's going to run through there at any given moment, but they do promote it quite a bit. But I've had the pleasure of playing there a few times, and I love it. I love that room. I love the street that it's on. That's kind of the strip of Little Rock, Arkansas. Yep. And people go, Little Rock, really? Playing in Little Rock? Yeah, playing in Little Rock. There's lots of cool people to see, and man, people are people all over this world, man, all over this planet. They all get into a groove, man. If you like music, and who doesn't like music? If you don't like music, I don't want to be your friend. I don't.
Exactly.
But I know that show is going to rock. Give me the lineup if you know it right offhand.
Yeah, so it'll be Monkey Thumb, Luke Shoemaker, Dark from Day One, and Scotty Austin.
And that is at the Rev Room on
July 9th. Yeah, and tickets, they can still purchase them online. As band members, we do have some for sale. They can private message us or whatever. And that's kind of a good opportunity. I know sometimes people are like, well, the band members are selling them. Yeah. Like, you can, purchase them straight from us, man. It's just, you always got to work hard. And also, too, once again, what better ways to connect? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I met that dude before the show. He sold me the ticket. Oh, damn, he's up there on stage, That's cool.
Yes, you start to develop a relationship with people, and they grow with you, and they'll tell their coworkers by the water cooler tomorrow, hey, I saw Dark from Day One at this show, and they also had Monkey Thumb up there. Scotty Austin was up there, and it was awesome, and it was at the Rev Room. I've never been to that club before, but I think the venue wins, the promoters win, the bands win, and you'll all have, I'm guessing you'll have merch tables sitting out there, and you'll have maybe your significant others. That's usually who you tap first to work the tables, or your kids or what have you. But sometimes we can't do this all by ourselves. We have to have a team, and I know like I said, Mary Holt was pretty instrumental in putting us together and putting me together with Scotty Austin as well. And yes, I agree, cool dude, man, cool dude. Very down to earth. When I first started talking to him, he was grilling steaks or chicken or something on his grill, and then he finally went inside with his phone and we talked. But here I am chatting with you guys. I've known about you. You've been on my radar. As a native, I'm only a half hour really away from any of you guys at any given moment. I'm here in the Conway area, Conway, Arkansas. It's a far cry from Miami, Florida. And Red, you know what I'm talking about, man.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Absolutely.
And even
hopefully you're able to come out.
Man, I have that day off, and usually I do weddings on Saturdays, but July 9th is so hot to have an outdoor wedding. I suspect I will be off because it's going to be cool in the Rev Room on Saturday, July 9th. Be there. All right. I like to wind these things down with, you can give shout outs to people, that have helped you along the way, and then we'll do last words for the people. So, Truman, give some shout outs to people that have helped you along the way, and then give some final words. And then since Natal John, you've been the person that I've known technically the longest. We're Facebook friends. Do I really know you? Not really. See, this is one of those connections that you think you know somebody better than you know them because you're friends on social media. That this is a word for the kids, I guess, that think that hey, my social media friends gave me a like. I must be liked. Well, you know, you got to get out in the real world too. And I hope people join you in the real world at the Rev Room on July 9th. But I digress. Truman Fuller, give some shout outs and last words for the people.
You know, I'm very appreciative to everyone because I moved away about 3 hours to come out here to do this with DARKFROMDAYONE. And since I've moved out here, the level of support that I've experienced from the community that surrounded the band and from the band members and extended family themselves has just been humbling, and I'm just very thankful. You know, of note right now, what's up, Miss Dubby Cowell, Ronnie James. She's doing a wonderful job of kind of helping keep us all organized right now in everything that we're trying to do. You know, we recorded Giants out at Supernova Sound in Memphis. We also recorded the tracks for How Could I, which is releasing tomorrow. So David Cowell, shout out to him. You're awesome. I've learned just so much from being in your presence a few times, man. You're got it going on. So, you know, that's pretty much my God.
All right.
There's some people I can name off. If I just start naming off people, man, we're gonna be here for a minute.
Oh no, you know? Man, and anybody. I want to mention
Ike. Ike has helped this guy's father. This guy's dad has kept me grounded since I've been up here. That that guy you can talk to whenever you're just like, oh.
That's fantastic. That all right. Anyway. Well, I mean, and then Natal John, give some shout outs and last words for the people.
We definitely want to thank Mama Mary too, of course. You know, Chris King at Rev Room, Stickies. I mean, once again, yeah, the list does go on and on. Dubby, man, there have been so many people that have helped us throughout this time. I mean, it's, you know, people are family. Garrett and Tammy, they're good friends of ours that, you know, let us utilize the shop. All the people that have let us crash on their couches whenever we've toured. I mean, there's too many to name. There really is. People like you that are, you know, helping artists, man. And I mean, we can't do this unless y'all are like showing some love and giving us the platform and the opportunity, you know. So thank you. All the different radio stations. I'm just really excited. I hope everybody comes out that can come out, you know. Why not? You know, why not go experience something? We thank our people that have been with us for years and years.
Yeah,
you know?
Come see us. We're gonna look you in the eyes. We're gonna connect with you, and we're gonna have just a great time with you. I don't know if I can here now. We're gonna have a bad time with you.
Yeah, I want you to make it
pictures with people and, you know, signing stuff and acting like idiots.
No, I want you to make it weird for that one person in the crowd. Just look at him and just bug eyes stare at him the whole time that you're playing guitar. Just look right at him.
Anyway.
Just look. I'm playing this just for you.
That's right. That's right. That's all it takes is that one person, man. This is all for you.
All right, man. I don't want this to be the last time that we chat. As time progresses, I want you to come back and promote whatever you got promoting and talk about whatever you want to talk about. This is your open invitation to come back in the next few months or year, whatever. You know, when you have new stuff coming down the pipe and you want to talk to yours truly once again. All right. Now, these last words for the people. I want you to give words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, or something that just pops into your head at this moment in time. Truman Fuller, give the last words for the people right now.
Look, man, no matter how prepared you think you are for life, it's going to throw you a curveball. It's up to you to swing the bat and make contact.
Natal John, Mr. Redbeard.
That's really it, man.
Natal John, Mr. Redbeard, give some last words for the people.
Here's the last words for the people. There are many people that are alive but very few people truly live. Be one of those people that truly live.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. There you have it, party people. Dark from Day One. Truman Fuller and Natal John, the Red Beard himself. That's just 2 of the 5. That's 2/5 of the band. I encourage you to go out and check out their show coming up on July 9th at the Rev Room in Little Rock, Arkansas. And if you missed that show, hey, I encourage you to follow them around on their Facebook page, on their website, on their any of their social medias. I got them all in the links below, so check all that out. Yeah. Awesome. It's cool, man. You hear people, they rock, they play this music that makes you feel, sometimes you got to thrash, man. After a long week of work, you just want to scream at the walls. Take it out on the music, on the dance floor. Don't take it out on other people, that's for sure. Music helps people get along, get together, experience. You have a joint experience, a combined experience together at and why not go to the Rev Room and see a bunch of bands, a bunch of cool bands. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. 2/5 of Dark from Day One. Natal John and Truman Fuller. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to hearing more and more as time progresses. You've been on my radar for a long time, but it's nice that we connected, and thanks to Mary Holt, Mama Mary, for putting us together. That girl can promote. That girl is really nice to the bands, and I like that. I appreciate knowing Mary Holt. She's in the Little Rock area if you want to look her up as well. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. If you'd like to tell your story, yes, you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.